Hello, everybody. Welcome to Most Wanted Topics. I'm your host, Kevin Dennison. Along with me, Atomic Tommy per you. How you doing, Atomic Tommy?
I'm doing great.
Hey,
doing awesome.
Yeah, it's a great day. It was a great weekend. Vikings are 3-0. Can't go wrong with that. I tell you what, it's just I love it when the Vikings win. It sets the week to a good tone.
Yeah.
We had a great Saturday. Batman Day was Saturday. Everybody came in for their free comics from Batman, and also we had some good Batman stuff on sale, some Golden Age, some Silver Age Batman books on the wall, so people could really take a look at and maybe make a few purchases. Mm-hmm. All in all, a fun Batman Day.
All in all, great Batman Day. It's just one of the best holidays. You know, celebrate everybody's favorite superhero. We were doing it up at Most Wanted. Yeah, again, just a great day.
Yeah, we loved it. You know what? We have kind of a regular week this week, kind of a surprise. Yeah. No signers coming in. We can breathe easy. But that doesn't mean we're not having fun at Most Wanted Comics. We still have a great week coming up, even though we don't have any signers. We have some reminders for you for housekeeping. Of course, in the month of October 18th, Vikings legend Tim Irwin will be here.
Yep.
Friday, October 18th from 5 to 7, signing autographs and taking selfies, so make sure you put that on the calendar. And why don't you tell us what's coming out on the 22nd?
Gary Trent Sr., former legendary Minnesota Timberwolf, will be here at Most Wanted Comics, signing from 6 to 7:30. You can see the ad up with all the pricing details. There will also be more details available at mostwantedcomics.com. But, you know, this is not only to kick off a new Timberwolf season, but also to help us celebrate our Tuesday night main events.
That's right.
It's the perfect segue into something that's going on every weekend through Halloween here. Every Tuesday night through Halloween, we'll be covering the long boxes with sports cards, gaming cards, trading cards, and, you know, just doing it up here, cards at Most Wanted Comics. You can see another picture, sort of the layout behind me here. And yeah, so that's Tuesday night main events. Help us celebrate that by, you know, again, every Tuesday through Halloween if you want, show up, buy some cards, but also on October 22nd, we will be having Gary Trent Sr. here signing autographs that night.
Yeah, people are like it that we were trying to stay open a little later, and you can just still buy comics and collectibles here, of course, during that time period. It's just that we just take one night a week where we focus on the cards part because the rest of the week we just don't have them out, really. But anyway, let's jump into October 1st, housekeeping. That's the kickoff for our food drive for Veep. We love to help our community here in Bloomington. Our local food shelf is Veep. And so what we're doing is called Stuff a Long Box Campaign, which means we want you to bring in 5 or more non-perishable food items and non-expired. Don't clean out your expired cabinet and just throw them all in. We want non-perishable food items, 5 or more, in a grocery bag, and bring it on into our Stuff a Long Box campaign. You'll receive 15% off coupon for any purchase at Most Wanted Comics.
Let's clarify. You can bring in, if you don't have to exclusively bring in 5 or more non-perishable, non-expired.
Any donation is fine.
Any donation is fine. We accept and appreciate all donation. But if you want to receive the 15% off promotion, that is 5 or more non-perishable, non-expired goods.
Plus, you also get entered into our drawing, which at the end of the drive on the 23rd, we'll have drawings for some really great prizes.
Yep.
So you want to keep, and that doesn't mean that it's only one time. Every time you donate 5 or more food items to the food drive here through the 23rd, you could come in once a day with items for the food drive, and then once a day you'll get a ticket. If it's 5 or more and it meets our qualifications, you'll get a coupon and you'll get into the drawing.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So keep that in mind. From the 1st to 23rd is your opportunity to give to Bloomington's Food Shelf, Veep, and really help a lot of people for the upcoming holiday season. With that in mind, let's get into some comic book talk and some updates for what's coming out. And Atomic Tommy, why don't you start?
You know, usually I do, but I think, you know, you being a Ghost Rider fan, I heard you had some strong opinions on Spirits of Vengeance #1. Why don't you go ahead?
I wouldn't say strong per se. I just hear me out. You guys know, have the people that have watched this show long enough know that my 2 favorite dudes are Punisher and Ghost Rider.
Yep.
And everybody also knows we also all agree that Percy's just been like the king lately of Ghost Rider writing. He's been just kicking ass at Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I know I know Percy did not write this, but I was really looking forward to Ghost Rider. There's been a lot of Ghost Rider lately, so there is some Ghost Rider fatigue, maybe.
A little oversaturation, I think, isn't too far fetched.
So maybe the fatigue maybe kind of tainted me a little bit, but for Spirit of Vengeance, this is what I have to say.
Who approved this script?
Yeah, didn't like it. I am not a fan of Spirit of Vengeance. It did not woo me. It did not make me jump up and down like, all right, another Ghost Rider story. It was kind of eh. And again, maybe it's possible that I was kind of tainted because I'm kind of Ghost Rider fatigued. But come on now. Percy's kicking butt. This one just didn't even come close.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it either. It was just kind of boring a little bit, Yeah, when you walk out of a Ghost Rider title, you kind of want to walk out with that, hell yeah feeling, that, wow, that was cool, that was cool Ghost Rider. And I just didn't get that here, Yeah, Johnny Blaze is there, yeah, but...
And I'm a Johnny Blaze, that's my guy. Johnny Blaze is my Ghost Rider.
It was just kind of boring, which for a Ghost Rider story is really the ultimate crime. If you're making a Ghost Rider story and it's boring... that's way worse than any writing flaw, right? So it's like, it was just kind of a boring story.
And I'm not abandoning the title. I'm just mad at it. So I think you just got to step up your game a little bit in the writing.
Off to a great start.
Yeah, you just got to step up your game.
I'm pretty sure it's probably some sort of limited series, but it's not off to a hot start.
No, not off to a hot start at all. Well, let's talk about another one that's not off to a great start, in my opinion. We're talking about the Dazzler now, and I gotta say,
it's the biggest piece of dog shit.
That's all I have to say about that one. Dazzler number 1.
Toss it. We're just tossing.
I couldn't tell if I was in a Gem cartoon or watching Ronda Rousey do an armbar. I don't know what the hell they were going for, but Dazzler's got to be more violent. I get the pop thing. I get the entertainer thing. It's always been and I'm sorry for the Swifties that wanted to be the Dazzler. I just wasn't impressed at all. The art was not good. I shouldn't say everybody tries hard. You did stuff. We're happy for you. You're doing stuff in the you got published. Great. But the art was not overwhelming. It was pretty generic. Dazzler looked like just a tracing of Gem.
Here's the thing, and that is, there's a way to make Dazzler where you get that Gem feeling, but you're still cool. You're still like, that's cool. Yeah, you can have both. There is a world where you can have both.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't really done here. I'm with my father here.
It wasn't even Karate Kid level. It was just straight up, here's a couple of moves, and here's an arm bar. I'm really causing you pain.
I might be a little more articulate than my father, but I do agree with him completely. Dazzler number 1 was probably, and I know I've said this about, NYX, but it's been beaten at. It is probably my least favorite start to an X-Men book so far. It was kind of, and I hate to use the word, but it was kind of cringe. It was just kind of, I kind of read it and I kind of took back. I was like, ugh.
It's like, ugh. But you know what? Sometimes Marvel's been lacking some pride in their overseeing of their quality control.
I'm not going to say that, again, we're not here to poo-poo on anybody's fun or anybody's enjoyment. If you love Dazzler, hey, that's great. That's what comics are for. We can like different titles.
Yeah, and if you loved it, great. I'm not telling you not to buy it or read it. I'm just telling you my only opinion of it, and I'm just.
But it's just one of those things where I just kind of stepped back. I read it and I was like, I just wasn't big on that, just kind of
But you know what? Let's kind of bounce back now. What came out past week? Incredible Hulk. Good. I'm not throwing this one out. This has been quietly solid. Every time it comes out, the Hulk series has been awesome. A little more dark than normal. Atomic Tommy will point that out. But still a good read. If you've slept on Incredible Hulk lately, don't. You're living in a house with no windows. You got to try this one out. It's not a bad read. It's all right. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Like you said, Hulk has been consistent from the start, and I don't talk about it much because it is a little bit darker, and it's just one of those things where, I don't have a ton to say about it week to week, issue to issue, other than it's just good, it's just good. Hulk, is probably one of the stronger going titles at Marvel. For all horror fans, thriller, scary, kind of darker stuff, Hulk is definitely a good read. And it's again consistent from issue 1. So give it a read if you haven't,
All right, now let's talk about Hellblazer. Hellblazer, good. This is all right. This was off to a good start. I like it. Yeah, I was not disappointed in Hellblazer. I like Hellblazer. There's kind of a cult following. You have to kind of be into Hellblazer to like the stories. If you're a Hellblazer fan, you're going to be all right with this one. Trust me on that one. Dead in America, I'd pick that one up. I'm kind of turtle fatigued also. There's a lot of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle titles out, but we did get Mutant Nation out, and I got to tell you, the best, in my opinion, Turtles, I mean, don't get me wrong. Jason Aaron is an awesome writer, and he's off to a good start with Turtles. But I think the best work in Turtles right now, and maybe it's because I'm turtle fatigued because I love the classic Turtles, is Eric Burnham, Saturday Morning Adventures, banger every issue that comes out. If you haven't read, I know they're kids' cartoon comic books, but I tell you what, these are solid reads. Everyone who loves the Turtles can appreciate these stories. Eric Burnham gets it. He's of the age of the Turtles. He's an awesome writer. He's witty. He's funny. He's a great writer. He's underappreciated in the comic book industry. Eric Burnham puts out bangers, whatever he writes. When he did Ghostbusters, bangers. Whatever this guy touches, it's banger. Eric Burnham is solid, and he's done. He did the Dungeons and Dragons. He did
Back to the
Future. He did Galaxy Quest. He's done all sorts of stuff. Burnham is a solid writer, and IDW needs to give him some more cred. And but this has been top notch all the way. And the only reason why I'm recommending Mutant Nation is because Burnham's got a short story in there. So anyway, the rest of them, Burnham, you nailed it. Good work, my friend.
But and to your point, Turtles, there is just a lot of Turtles, and people like the Turtles. They've kind of made a pop culture comeback recently. You could say they've never left, but they've definitely come back in popularity quite a bit. But there's just, look at IDW, man. There's like the Source Book. There's the Foot Clan spin-off. There's the Night Watcher. There's like all of these spin-offs. And you just kind of it just circles back to the oversaturation problem that DC suffers from, that Marvel suffers from. Honestly, the only company I can think of that doesn't suffer from it is Image.
That's why Image is kicking ass right now, because Image is just putting out banger after banger. And they took classics like G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Yeah,
they made them just awesome.
You look at the Energon universe. There's a solid amount of Energon universe stuff out right now, but it's not overwhelming. There's an issue of Transformers a month. There's Void Rivals. There's in your 2 sort of G.I. Joe titles. There's 4 Energon universe stuff that release, so usually you're getting 1 every week. That is not overwhelming. Or you look at Ghost Machine, also Image. 3 incredible titles with more on the way. Rook, Exodus, Geiger, Redcoat. Not overwhelming, good spaced, and great stories.
Yeah, our favorite Immortal Redcoat. Great storyline.
What we consistently come back to here is that Image is getting it done.
Yeah.
Image is getting it done. And they're doing it with the monsters now, Universal Monsters. You got Frankenstein, you got Frankenstein. They're kind of releasing them one at a time. You had Creature last month. You got Frankenstein going now. They're getting the job done.
Pay attention, people. Pay attention.
And then you switch over to companies like Marvel, and you have like 9 X-Men titles releasing in a month. Next week alone, there's like 4 X-Men titles in 1 week.
X-Men has been good, but that's their staple right now. They have to lean on it because what are they going to rely on, the Dazzler? You can't do that.
Okay, well, let's take a different example. Let's take Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I mean, how many, like, again, this week there were like 3 Spider-Man related titles that were like, if you're a Marvel fan and you want to keep up, how many do you have to read a week? How much do you have to buy a week? It's just, it is insane. It is crazy.
Yeah, you got to trim it down.
It severely needs to be trimmed down. I was really hoping that when they relaunched the X-Men, like, they wouldn't. We've talked about that before. We don't need to go into it, but
Just bring back all
so
the
much
greats.
saturation. You know?
Bring back all the greats. Bring back Rockefort, Peltier, Champagne, Tom Newman. Bring back the people that know the industry. I mean, we got Mankey, I get that. We got Jurgens, we get that. They're staples. But you have a lot of really killer artists. When y'all worked at teams, when y'all worked together as teams and didn't change them up every 2 issues, man.
Well,
get back to that. Get a cohesive team together, art, writer, letterer, anchor, get it together and get good stories done with good art. And get back to the basics.
There are great writers. Like, I can name off writers that are consistently good.
Oh, yeah.
But I struggle with artists. Yeah. I struggle to really name consistently good art. I can't think of an artist right now that's on the level of somebody like, Doug Mankey or Paul Peltier or Kenneth Rockefort. I can't think of anybody worked, or Tom Newman. I can't think of anybody. Now, there are good artists in
Ron Lim, Mike Grell, all legends that are still around. Get them in more stuff.
There are good artists. There is good art at current Marvel. But there's just not enough of it, and I can't think of an artist that really does stuff to that level. Every time Doug Mankey comes back to do art, it's insane. Batman Off-World. He came back, he did Batman Off-World. That book is crazy popular. G.I. Joe. They got Paul Peltier on G.I. Joe. What do I hear about G.I. Joe? The art's incredible. It's just...
Yep.
Marvel and DC, they're struggling in the art. I mean, going back to Dazzler, the art was underwhelming, but honestly, it wasn't too different from anything I'm seeing at Marvel as a whole. Like, it wasn't drastically worse than everything else in Marvel. So what does that tell you about Marvel's art quality right now? It's just subpar.
And they expect you to pay $4 and $5 for the book.
It's $4, and it's $4 a comic. You know what I mean? And it's like,
so I gotta get some value for your money.
And even people like you have staples that do work, like John Romita Jr. He does a lot of like covers now. You know what I mean? And his covers are always cool. Personally, I'm not a huge John Romita Jr. fan. I'm just not a huge fan of his style. But he's a staple. He's a titan in this business. You know what I mean? And he's the last of a
Where's McCone been
great
lately? Where's
generation
been
of
lately,
of Marvel artists. He's one of the last of an era. You know what I mean? That's still working. And I really hope he still keeps working. Because we need those. We need those legends. We need those.
Keith Williams.
Yeah. It's just. Anyway,
all right. That's our nag for the day. That's our nag.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. I tell you what, that was great. We got to do some shout outs. Matt and JD, shout out to you. And I tell you what, also, we have Caleb. We have Jimmy the Souser, the Gossovich family, Mark and Mark. We have not only 1, but 2, but 3 Dans. All 3 Dans. Love you guys. We have Tyler. We have Liz. We have Shanice. So we just want to give a shout out to you guys.
Don't forget Lucille.
Oh, don't forget Lucille. And we have Jeff and Ryan and Jimmy. And so we just want to give a shout out to you guys this week. And if you like what you see, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to this channel, because we have a lot going on here, Most Wanted Comics, and we want you, if you can't see us in person, we invite you to watch every week here. And then if you get a chance to come to beautiful Bloomington, Minnesota, we would love to have you come in person and check out our store. We have the best back issues. We have a wide variety of back issues. We sell nostalgia stuff. We have vintage toys, modern toys, cards, gaming cards, you name it.
But, before we go, all that being said, we still have to talk about what's coming up this week in comic books.
Oh, yeah, what's coming out this week?
2 big books. Not big books, but books that I'm personally excited for. Again, it's a pretty business as usual week for the big 2 and for comics as a whole. Not a whole lot coming out that's super big or game changing. But we do have Wolverine Revenge #2.
That's going to be good.
Jonathan Hickman, classic. You know, it's only been out for an issue and it's already a classic.
Yeah.
Jonathan Hickman writes consistent fire. I don't really need to explain why this book is going to be popular and why it's good. So look out for that. Also, Uncanny X-Men number 3. Uncanny X-Men is the best X-Men title going right now. If you're not in it yet, if you're not reading it yet, probably not too difficult to go grab yourself a copy.
Yep.
We're only 3 issues in. Get caught up. It is the best X-Men book going right now, and number 3 comes out this week. So be there for that.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. We expect a great week out of everybody. We hope everybody has a good week, and we will see you next time.